Good afternoon, returning officers, office bearers, and the lovely students present today. I am Sani Muhammad from the party Ignivitas. Currently, I'm in my first year, second sem, in schools of arts and social sciences, pursuing digital media and communications. Having been in MUISS as a subcommittee member has helped me gain a deep understanding on the process of event planning, task delegation, finances, and MUISS structure in general. I will begin with my manifesto point. Enhance productivity among MUISS departments. Firstly, I plan to improve collaborative productivity within MUISS through online project management tools such as Trello that I have personally used during my high school. Hence, I'm aware to use the best utilize it for MUISS. I believe this will drastically help in managing aspects, as my aim as MUISS head includes working towards accountability and consistency in working towards our goals. Create a secure and supportive environment for our students. Secondly, I plan to create a warm and welcoming atmosphere that would encourage our international students to confide in, where they not only feel value, but also empowered to express themselves. Enhance community engagement. Community engagement is always an aspect of improvement. After all, students are graduating and joining Monash every semester. Hence, I plan to create a MUISS newsletter which will keep all the students up to date with all the activities and events we've planned for them. This will be sent monthly so they know what they can expect from us, as one of the largest problems I've analyzed in MUISS is the lack of community engagement. I plan to solve, it'll also be posted on our Instagram page for everyone to join. I also plan to add a reply feature to the newsletter that will redirect the reply to MUISS, which will help us in getting responses and student feedback so that the students can feel free to talk about any issues they're facing. The MUISS newsletter will help accessing information easy for students and also create a way for them to communicate with MUISS freely. Commitment to inclusive campus culture. To foster a strong sense of inclusion among international students, I plan to create a campus culture that celebrates diversity, values every voice, and ensures that all students, regardless of their background, feel a genuine sense of belonging. With these plans to expand on MUISS mandate, improving current processes, and new marketing and engagement initiatives, I believe I possess the ability to lead MUISS to new heights. Thank you.
Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, respected election committee members, current OBs, fellow candidate, and honorable Monashians. A very good afternoon to you all. My name is Izhan Adil, and I am in year 2, semester 2, studying in School of IT. It is with great honor and enthusiasm that I stand before you today as a candidate for Head of MUISS. As an international student myself, I recognize firsthand the diverse array of challenges and opportunities that define our collective experience at Monash. My journey at Monash has been enriched by a multitude of international experiences, from active involvement in events like MCN to my dedicated involvement in MUISS engagement subcommittee. I've had the privilege of fostering connections among a culturally diverse student body. As a participant in the International Buddy Program, I've witnessed firsthand the transformative power of peer support. Events like One World, which provided me with a platform to appreciate and celebrate the rich tapestry of global cultures, have further solidified my commitment to advocating for the rights and well-being of international students. Having been born and raised in Saudi Arabia while being India Pak heritage, I bring a unique perspective shaped by diverse cultural influences. These experiences have not only broadened my horizons, but also have instilled in me a deep commitment to ensure every international student at Monash feels heard, supported, and celebrated. Thank you. So now let's delve deeper into each statements listed in my manifestos. Firstly, enhance right awareness. This manifesto centers around empowering our international student community by ensuring that they have a clear understanding of their rights within Monash University. This involves initiatives such as workshops, seminars, and informational resources focused on educating students about their entitlements. Secondly, amplified student representation. This initiative underscores the importance of having a direct and responsive channel for student feedback. It entails setting up a structured system where students can voice their concerns, ideas, and suggestions. This platform will not only serve as a means to voice grievances, but also the mechanism for students to propose innovative solutions to challenge their encounter. By ensuring that every student's voice is not only heard but also acted upon, we are fostering a culture of genuine representation and inclusivity. Thirdly, inclusive events and workshops. These events and workshops are designed to create opportunities for cross-cultural interaction and understanding between students. By organizing a diverse range of activities, we aim to celebrate the richness of our international community. Lastly, advocacy for student rights. Advocacy for student rights involves establishing a direct line of communication with Monash administration to ensure that international students' rights are safeguarded. This encompasses various aspects, including fair treatment, access to resources, and protection from discrimination. It also involves actively engaging with universities' policies when necessary. By working collaboratively with the administrations, we aim to create an environment where every international student feels secure and supported in their journey in Monash community. In conclusion, my fellow Monash peers, I stand before you today as a candidate, not only as a candidate, but as a fellow traveler on this remarkable academic journey. Together, we'll forge a future where every international student thrives. I humbly ask for your support, for together we shall turn these promises into actions that resonate through the cherished halls. Thank you.
Thank you for the opening statements, gentlemen. Now we'll proceed to Q&A by the candidates. You may proceed.
In your manifesto, you state that you'll organize culturally diverse events and workshops, but don't we already have CROs to do that? So then why is one of your primary points not even in your jurisdictions?
Okay, can you give me 30 seconds to plan my answer?
Sure.
Can you repeat the question, please?
In your manifesto, you stated that you'll organize culturally diverse events and workshops, but we already have the CRO department to do that. So why is that one of your main points?
Yes, of course, we do have a CRO committee, but then as a MUISS head, I can plan like events and workshops as per my wish as well. So these events and workshops which I'll be designing will create opportunities for cross-cultural interaction and understanding.
Do you have any new events that you're planning? If so, do you have any?
Yeah, I'll plan some of the events. Actually, there are a lot of events throughout for the MUISS, but since if there will be time lapse between, I'll try to provide more events and workshops so that every culture is represented and showed. Yeah. Hello. In your manifesto, inclusive campus culture, implementing an inclusive campus culture is a commendable goal. Can you provide specific strategies or initiatives you plan to introduce to ensure that international students truly feel a sense of belonging and inclusivity?
Okay. So with that point, my first step would be to learn about every different culture there is so that we don't miss out on any important events. So basically, it's going to be, once I'm elected, I'm going to sit down with my party and talk to them and talk to my CROs and talk about every event, every single event that matters to every single community, and then plan it according to that. Does that answer your question?
I asked you like what specific strategies or initiatives you will plan.
We're gonna sit and plan for the upcoming ones. We can't just provide strategies right now.
so-
Because I don't want to make any fake promises. So then we're gonna sit down and then plan, and then I'm gonna provide it on the MUISS newsletter that I talk about.
So you don't have any specific initiatives as pre-po?
For cultural events, as of now, no.
Any events or workshops?
No, because we also have a very short time frame. So saying that we're gonna provide a cultural event with such a short time frame and not being able to do it is also gonna be a false promise. So I cannot promise something like that. That's why we're gonna sit down, plan, and then talk about it.
Okay, understandable. Okay, so I have one more question for you. So the second manifesto, which is enhanced community engagement, you have mentioned improving accessibility to information and communication between MUSA and the student body. How do you plan to overcome potential language barriers or communication gaps that may exist among international students?
I'm going to tackle that firstly with the MUISS newsletter that'll be provided to all international students. And to tackle language barriers, I'm pretty sure it's not that hard to Google Translate that, so it won't take that much of an effort. But the MUISS newsletter that I plan will have all the information that it needs to provide every international students with every single small update that the MUISS Instagram page doesn't give. So, yeah.
All right, thank you for your answer.
I have a question. In your election guide, you talked about an innovative initiative. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the initiative which I might put it up will be like, it's known as ISAC, which is the full form is International Student Advisory Council. So it comprises of representatives from various nationalities and academic disciplines. So ISAC would serve as a direct conduit for students to voice their feedback and concerns. The ISAC would meet regularly to discuss issues affecting international students and brainstorm potential solutions. So this is what ISAC.
Okay, so who does the ISAC consist of? Are you going to find people?
Yeah, ISAC, I'll be hiring students who are perfectly fit for the role to represent international students.
Okay, so you're going to sit down and have a meeting and then elect people?
Yeah.
So you're going to elect people for different studies and different cultures, right?
No, it's like advisory council.
Yeah, so it's going to consist of different communities.
Yeah,
people, right?
it's same like as CRO, but CR is country reps.
Yeah.
But then in this, it represents all of the international students.
Yeah, because my follow-up question was going to be, don't we already have school reps and country representatives that you can use for this? So then why are you going to sit down, take time?
The school reps and country reps are for particular reasons.
Why can't they be useful?
School reps are for schooling things, and for country reps is like they represent the countries.
So
this is like for overall international students,
okay,
so that they have a voice. Yeah.
So you're
gentlemen,
gonna have
sorry to interrupt you. Please wait for the question to be completed, then proceed to answer. Thank you. Mr. Sani, you may proceed with the question, please.
So since you're talking about the new initiative and you plan to do it, right? What about the current issues MUISS faces? How are you going to tackle those and plan a new initiative and sit down and find people and elect them at the same time? Don't we have a very less time frame for that?
I can understand that point. But the thing is, I'm not going to specifically plan it. Like, I'm thinking about it if we should provide a student advisory council. So if needed, I'll take the step and make the ISAC. Yeah. So I have a question for you. So you have talked about productivity in MUSA departments. Utilizing online project management tools like Trello is a good step towards efficiency. However, how will you ensure that all members of MUSA are comfortable and proficient in using such tools, especially considering varying levels of tech savings among team members? Firstly, you have talked about MUSA departments, but your main focus should be MUISS, right? So can you elaborate on that as well?
Firstly, the whole thing with Trello, the only reason I'm planning to use it is MUISS did try using Notion, but that didn't work out. So that's why I plan to use Trello, and me having personal experience using it in high school, I'm gonna first sit down with every OB from every department and teach them, because it's not that hard, it's very user-friendly. So it's gonna be one meeting where we're gonna sit down, I'm gonna show them the basics that they'll need, where they'll have to just update every department on what they're doing and when they're gonna finish with their work, so that we can finish our work and move on with it smoothly. And your other question, there was an error. It's supposed to say MUISS, not MUSA. That was not on mine. I wrote MUISS in my thing. They wrote it wrong. I meant MUISS department, not MUSA departments.
All right. Yeah, as you told about the Trello, that's a communication channel, right? So there are many social media platforms and communication channels like Discord, WhatsApp, Telegram and all, and people are comfortable with that. So why do you want to choose a new one and confuse all the people?
Look, with Trello, it basically provides you a calendar. So you can update everything on when you're gonna finish. So it's much more user-friendly than using Telegram or WhatsApp. So I would prefer.
Can you turn on the mic, please, for the candidate?
Yeah, so I've mentioned earlier that that's a nice idea for Trello, but then people are already comfortable with other social media platforms, and you want to like introduce one more and confuse the people. I don't think so. They will.
Hello? Okay. If people are comfortable, then why isn't MUISS managing properly then? Why is there miscommunication?
I think so. They are managing it properly.
Miscommunication. And I plan to fix that with Trello.
Okay, fine.
I would like to remind the candidates that we have time for one more question from each candidate.
I have one question for you. So on your election guide, you wrote feedback gathered from ISAC meetings would be compiled into actionable recommendations. These recommendations would be presented to MUISS leadership and when appropriate, shared with relevant university stakeholders. What do you mean by university stakeholders? And also, when you say MUISS leadership, aren't you the one planning this, and aren't you gonna be there for the meetings?
MUISS leadership, that means basically all the committee members in MUISS. Okay? And if you're talking about university stakeholders, that's a misword. But then it's also saying about the MUSA, the whole MUSA and everything. Yeah. So Monash, Malaysia boasts a diverse student population with students from various countries and cultures. How do you plan to ensure that your initiatives are inclusive and relevant to students from a wide range of cultural backgrounds?
I'm gonna have a talk with my CRO team with this, who's gonna have a talk with all the country representatives to make sure that everyone's heard, and based off that only we're gonna make decisions. So basically I'm gonna have a talk with every CR and then see what they need, what they're missing, what could be done better, and then work on that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the Q&A session. Now we'll proceed to Q&A from the OBs. So I would like to invite Ms. Kamala to please come to the stage. Thank you.
All right, good day to both candidates. Can you guys hear me? All right. A little louder? Got it. My first question will be directed to both of you. Given that both sides right now that are running only have MUISS head and MUISS CRO positions, and officially you can only fill that other positions during by-election, which means you'll have to do your orientation game wars, jump sunway, and any events up until then just between you and the MUISS CRO. How do you plan to handle that without an engagement, treasurer, secretary, and MUISS media?
You want to go first? So, as you have mentioned that we don't have the position still available for engagement, treasurer, and everything. So we have to manage it really carefully. We'll be doing all the work preponed. So for the, just give me 2 seconds. As there are 2 positions, so MUISS head is like, they assign the work to all the positions, but then if there are no positions, so I will do the work more often for all the positions, and even I'll give the work to CROs accordingly, and even the time management and all, I'll be taking care of.
If I'm not mistaken, if I do win the election, I won't be MUISS head officially until January 1st, so I will still have the help of the current OBs, so I can still talk to them and plan with them, and then plan accordingly.
My next question. Since both of you are currently MUISS subcommittee, I believe it's very important for a MUISS head to have the quality to be able to self-reflect. So, how do you guys feel within the past year your work has been as a subcommittee in terms of managing the work that is assigned to you, as well as being in meetings, being punctual, and such and so on?
As a subcommittee member, I knew that I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm still learning to this day from all the current OBs. I ask doubts, and I'm learning still. So I would like to say that I'm learning as I'm going, but I feel like I'm doing a good job as of now. As Treasurer Subcom, I feel like I've done a good job, and I feel like Rohan would back up on that. And I feel like as MUISS head as well, having the experience to be along with all you current OBs, and managing, planning, and seeing all the current activities and how they've planned out, I feel like I'll do a good job with all this experience that I have.
So from the experience of engagement subcommittee, I've fostered a lot of cultural diversities and met new people with different cultures and diversities. So I know how to approach them and handle accordingly. So this experience will help me to be MUISS head, and even I have past experiences which I've mentioned earlier in the opening statement.
Let me rephrase my last question. What do you think you could have done better as a subcommittee within the past year?
So in the past year, for the subcommittee, I could have managed the time very well and interact with the students and in the events more often to understand the different backgrounds of students, international students, of course. So I would have done it much better by investing more time in it and analyzing the student backgrounds.
I feel like I could have done more work Like Rohan did give me enough work already, but I feel like I could have done more. But yeah.
All right. My next question would be specifically to Sunny. So two of your manifesto points are commitment to inclusive campus culture and create a secure and supportive environment for our students. You never mentioned concretely how you are going to do this. So how are you planning to implement differently or new to make this happen?
So with the inclusivity, I plan to learn more about all the communities so I don't miss out on anything. As Izan asked me with the first question as well, I plan to sit with my CROs and I plan to talk to all the country representatives at least once a month at least to see if they need anything and if we're missing out on anything that we could add and do better and in any way that I could help.
All right. My next question is for Izan. Your new initiative, and I quote, Isaac is compromising representatives from various nationalities and academic disciplines. Isaac would serve as a direct conduit for students to voice their feedback and concerns. These points that you mentioned are all existing functions of MUISS, specifically also CRO. Can you give me one example of a job under Isaac that MUISS do not do or will not do next year due to its existence, and why it would not be redundant for this board to happen?
Can you repeat the question, please?
All the points of Isaac that you have mentioned are all existing functions of MUISS, including CRO. Can you give me one example of a job under Isaac that MUISS do not do or will not do next year due to its existence?
So as I have mentioned that ISAC will be that's advice from my side, like I might implement it further, but then the one example which I will give will be they will have consistent meetings for the students, international students' voice will be heard and acted upon. So that should be it.
Can you explain to me structurally how Isaac will fit under MUISS organization? Will it be under an existing department, a new department, or even an independent entity outside of MUISS?
It will be under MUISS, of course, but then it will be like a separate department which is known as International Student Advisory Council. So it will consist of students who are good representatives for international student voices. So that will be the structure, if it answers.
All right, so you say under a new department. How many OBs will fit there in your new department, as well as if you are taking people into Isaac, which department are you decreasing?
I won't be decreasing any department, but then it's an additional plan, like to make MUISS much better. So I might hire around 10 to 15 student representatives. Yeah.
All right. My next question is for Sunny. One of your initiatives is newsletter. How are you planning to gain email access to international students, as we are not privy to sensitive information from Monash University?
Okay, so my plan with the MUISS newsletter is it'll be provided as a QR to sign up during orientation week, and it'll also be posted on the MUISS Instagram page so that it has a more spread. And I feel like with the QR, it'll get a good amount of students to join, and yeah.
My next question is also for Sunny. As you noted earlier, between the questions of you two, that at the beginning of my year, we implemented a Notion system, which are mostly focused for OBs keeping track of timeline. Are you aware that the Notion is still up to date until now and is still something that is happening? And how will Trello differ than this?
I have heard that Notion was still being used, but I didn't see it as being used as much or being mentioned at all to the subcoms in the Telegram GC. That's why I focus more using Trello. And having past experience with it, I feel like I would do a good job with it.
As Trello is arguably a more complicated app to work through, how would you...
With personal experience, I would say no, because Notion's way more complicated.
All right.
Yeah.
How would you train your whole subcommittee and OBs to be up to date within this new foundation of yours?
So with Trello, I plan to have at least like 1 or 2 meetings, just giving the basics of what they need to do and what they need to add and where they need to add it and how they'll need to do it. And I'll always be there if they have any doubts regarding it.
Sorry to interrupt, just to remind Mr. Sani to please wait for the question before we proceed to answer. Thank you.
All right. In your position as MUISS head, you will always have to be available for any concerns regarding individuals and communities of international students. How will you make sure this will something that you can do? As well as if you are not available, who is your proxy for work like this?
Okay, so if any international student ever wants to contact me, they can always either text, email, anything, even with the newsletter, which I plan, the thing with the newsletter, I plan to check it every day, at least every morning once, to see if there's any response that I could reply back to. And I honestly feel like I'll be there most of the time to reply to them. And if in case there is a time where I won't be available, I will assign someone from the MUISS committee as a proxy for them.
Izan?
So if I'm not available at some moments, I will assign, according to the constitution, I think so, after the MUISS head, the responsibility is for MUISS secretary. So he or she will be the other guy, or else there are a whole committee to who can be questioned to.
Okay, my next question is for both of you. This is something I already asked in my election guide, but I do want you guys to give me a more elaborate answer. What roles does the head play in MUISS? Do you think that is not stated in the constitution nor it is in the handbook?
Okay, so in my view, the head of MUISS plays a multifaceted role that extends beyond the confines of the constitution and the handbook. So firstly, the head serves as a unifying force between the international students community. This involves creating a welcoming environment to the students with diverse backgrounds who will feel included and valued. Furthermore, the head of MUISS acts as a conduit between the students, between the international body and the other student community, university community. This involves advocating for the specific needs and concerns of international students, whether related to academic, cultural adjustments, or support services.
All right, my last question to both of you. So, you will start your tenure in January 1st and you will not have a by-election until February or March. So in between those months, how are you going to maintain MUISS social presence, given that you do not have a publicity and editors team?
Okay. The first plan of action, I would focus on finding interims that could run in the by-election, and then I'd set an interview with them to see if they're perfect candidates for this position or not, and then with the help of the current OBs, I would help, they would help me interview the current people to see if they're suitable for the position or not.
So by-election will be held at January to February. So at that time, for selecting the perfect fit candidates, I would seek help from the current OBs and even from the MUSA departments. Like, I will take their advice and suggestions before interviewing the candidates.
All right, my next question is specifically for Izan. The first point in your manifesto are enhanced rights awareness to combat inadequate teaching practices. Are you aware that this falls under Vice President and one of the school representative main focus? If you are, how are you planning on meeting these manifesto points when it is not under your job scope?
Okay, so for the enhanced right awareness you're talking about. So according to the clause 81, subclause 1, subclause A, it emphasizes being a recognized means of communication between international students and academic administrative authorities. By enhancing the right awareness, we are actively facilitating the communication channel and ensuring students are informed about their entitlements.
All right. What are concrete plans do you plan to effectively communicate between this?
So I'll provide a open feedback channel for the communication of various students, where they can open up for any questions, or they can provide any solutions from which they will be helped.
All right. My next question would be for Sunny. One of your manifesto points is to enhance community engagement. Can you explain more on this, especially when you don't have publicity or editors to affect your social media presence?
So with the community engagement, I mean to say it goes back to my MUISS newsletter point, where it would also have, I'm planning to add a reply feature to that, which would help give us feedbacks and responses from the international students who don't have the courage or aren't confident enough to come talk to us in person, where they could just email us and the email will redirect to me or anyone that it would be suitable for their department.
All right, that is all the questions from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kamal. Now we'll proceed to Q&A from the audience. You will be passed the mic to ask the question.
Testing. Okay. Hi guys. Hi to both candidates. So I just have few questions. The first one is, mention your 3 weaknesses and how will you overcome them during your tenure, knowing that you're leading the whole division, including the head of departments, subcommittees, and country representatives by yourself? That's my first question. And my second question is for Sunny. In your election guide and your opening speech, you mentioned that you want to do a newsletter for all students as your new initiative. Can you elaborate more of how are you going to do it during your tenure?
Michelle, can you repeat the first question again?
I would like to request the audience member to please go question by question so as not to confuse the candidate. Ask the first question first, please.
Okay, I will repeat my first question. What are your 3 weaknesses and how will you overcome them during your tenure, knowing that you will lead the whole division, including the head of departments, subcommittees, and country representatives by yourself?
Okay, so for the weaknesses, I feel I do have some weaknesses like procrastination and time management, but then I'll overcome it effectively because when you get the position, you have to do it very well. So I will push myself and work it effectively.
Hello. Yeah. So one of my first weaknesses joining MUISS was working as a team was really hard for me when I first joined. But as I've moved in my second semester now, I've done a pretty good job adapting to that. So I feel like as I become MUISS head, if I were to become MUISS head, I would work on that as well and do a better job at doing that.
Thank you. And for my second question is for Sani. In your election guide and your opening statement, you mentioned that you want to do a newsletter for all students as your new initiative. Can you elaborate more of how are you going to do it in your tenure?
Okay, so I have made a newsletter in my high school as well for my school council community. So I have experience making one. So I'm going to follow the similar way, and I'm just going to work with my OBs on this as well to get their feedback to make sure it's the perfect MUISS newsletter.
Thank you. Just one follow-up question. Given that it is an initiative that to spread information for new students and all students, MUISS 2022 already made it as a MUISS starter pack in the Linktree, and 2023 media team is working on put these informations as a starter pack in our upcoming website and will be accessible to all students. How are you going to make it different?
So with the 2022 one that you mentioned, the starter pack, right? I don't think that many international students have signed up for it because I haven't seen it around. Being an international student myself, it wasn't that popular, was it? So I plan to make the MUISS, the one I plan, make it accessible through the QR scanning in orientation week, so it's more accessible to new students. So it's more easier for them as well to join. It's just a scan of a QR code, and it'll also be posted on the MUISS Instagram page where it'll get more promotion.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Any further questions from the audience? Gentleman here.
This is a question to Izhan. Can I know what criteria you will use to appoint these international student representatives? Will the criteria be same as the selection of CRs which CROs already handle?
Thank you for the question. To implement this initiative, which is known as ISAC, I'm sure you're talking about that. So I would start by conducting outreach to identify interested and motivated student representatives. It's not the country representatives, it's different. So the selection process would aim for diversity in nationality, academic discipline as well, and year of study. Regular meetings would be scheduled as well to ensure consistent communication between them.
Just a follow-up question. So these international students, they are going to be from each and every community of Monash, right? From countries. Thank you.
So as I said, I will assign the position to the motivated student representative that obviously involves all the communities who will be perfectly fit in for. So I would aim for diversity in nationality and academic discipline. So that will be the main focus. That should answer it.
Any further questions from the audience? Miss at the front.
So this is the question specifically for Sani. You mentioned Notion is ineffective and it has caused a lot of miscommunication. So how do you come to a conclusion that Notion is not effective?
Hello, I didn't mention miscommunication. I just said it wasn't mentioned to the subcommittee, so neither did I know, and I don't think so any of the other subcommittee members knew about it. So with Trello, I plan to involve every subcommittee as well. That's the main big difference, so that even the subcommittee members know what to do, when to do it by, so that they're up to date with all the departments as well.
how do you manage to make everyone understand how it works?
Trello is very user-friendly, I'd like to say. And I plan to sit down with them and have a meeting explaining all the basics they'd need to know on what to add and how to add it and everything. And if they have any doubt, they can feel free to come to me anytime they'd like.
Okay, thank you. And next question is for Izan. So when you mentioned about Isaac, do you think that Isaac and the MUISS itself is a different division, or?
Okay, so it's not a different division. So I'll be implementing it under MUISS to help the international students' voices. So it will be under MUISS.
Knowing that right now there is no candidates for engagement, secretary, treasurer, and media, how would you handle to gather everyone to want to become that position while also searching for Isaac members?
So as I've mentioned earlier, that Isaac is not my priority. It's just advice from my side that I might implement it.
This is a separate question, but still for Izan.
Sorry to interrupt. This will be the last question.
Last question.
Yeah.
Your performance as a subcommittee under my leadership is below satisfaction in my judgment, such as punctuality and feedbacks from my other subcoms too. So how will students trust you now to lead this division, given that your performance as a subcom in this current moment was under satisfactory?
I think so. I've performed well, but then for MUISS head, it's an important role. So I'll be more careful and dedicated to the position, and I'll do it much, much better.
Okay, thank you.
Gentleman at the back.
Okay, so first of all, congratulations to both of you on well-explained opening statements. My first question is directed towards Sani. Now, Sani, in your opening statement and while addressing the questions here, you have emphasized on the fact that there has been miscommunication and mismanagement within MUISS. Now, you being a part of the subcommittee, can you please elaborate what is the mismanagement which is present within MUISS right now, and your role as a subcommittee, how have you acted out in order to prevent those mismanagements, and what was your role to solve them? You can have 30 seconds.
To remind that from here on onwards, we'll be limiting questions to only one question per person. I'm afraid your time is up.
Okay, so one of the examples I'd like to say is during the MCN practices, do you know about there was a not misinformation, but there was an error in the CNS and MUISS sheets for booking the dance studio. And there was a lot of issues because of that, right? And that wasn't solved. But it wasn't MUISS's mistakes, it was CNS, because they were using a complete separate thing. So I plan to fix that as well, firstly. And as a subcom, I didn't have that much of a power to change anything. So I'd like to say that in the future, as MUISS head, I'd like to change that.
Okay, do I have an option to ask a follow-up question, or?
No, I'm afraid we
Sure.
have. Further questions? Gentlemen at the back, please.
Hi, Sani and Izan. Okay, so my question goes to the both of you. As a MUISS head, you know you're going to be in several committees such as the HAC, MAC, EAC, and etc. How are you going to make sure there's transparency of information and effective communication from the committees to your fellow OBs? Yeah, okay, the MAC and the rest of the committees. Okay, so as a MUISS head, you're going to be in several communities, right? So the HEXCOs, the MAC, and other committees. How are you going to make sure there's transparency of information from these committees to your fellow OBs in MUISS?
To maintain the transparency and communication, the committee is responsible for the management of MUISS. So the head of MUISS will foster a culture of open communication and collaboration within the committee. Secondly, consultation will be done with the MSc members throughout. In accordance with the Constitution, should actively engage with MSc members to ensure the team is progressing harmoniously.
An easy way to be transparent is just regular meetings with all my OBs. I would like to say monthly meetings would be a suitable amount of time, but in case I need another meeting, I could host an emergency one as well, and just discuss everything that we've talked about that the OBs would need to know.
We have time for one last question. Gentleman at the back, please.
Hello. Okay. My question is for Izan. Okay, as a MUISS head, there were like a few disciplinary issues in the events last sem and this sem as well. So I just wanted to ask that what actions would you take against those people?
Can you please rephrase your question?
अच्छा. I'm saying that यार इसका आवाज नहीं आ रही यार. Can you hear me now? Sarosh idhar aao. I'm saying that there has been a few disciplinary issues this semester and last semester in the MUISS events. So what actions are you going to take against those people?
Okay, so for the conflicts you're talking about, I'll plan it accordingly so that there won't be much conflicts furthermore. So by keeping the activities between team building activities between the committee members and all, so and keeping track of every single voice from the students where it's containing the problem.
Thank you for the question. We have one more question from Mr. Ashwan at the front.
One, two. All right, so great answers so far to both of you. So my question is directed to the both of you. Given that you guys are going to be heads of the division, I need you to list down the various different positions that come under MUISS and elaborate on the roles of each of these positions. Could I have Izhan answer first and then Sani answer?
Under the MUISS division, there are several committee members, OBs, which are MUISS Treasurer, MUISS Secretary, MUISS Welfare, MUISS Media, MUISS Engagement, and Treasurer I've mentioned. Publicity. Yeah, that's all I think.
Okay, so Sani, could you answer first?
So there's publicity, editors, CRO, secretary, and treasurers. Do you want me to list down the...
All of them.
All of them. Okay. So publicity handles the publicity of MUISS, like all the handles the Instagram page and everything. The editors handle all the content creation and come up with creative ideas. Engagement consists of welfare and activities. So they take care of all the event planning, etc. CRO is the most integral part that takes care of all the country representatives. Treasurer manages all the finances of MUISS and gives it to MUSA.
All right, thanks for your answers. That's all from me.
Thank you for the questions. We'll proceed to closing statements from the candidates.
Thank you all for your thoughtful consideration of my vision for MUISS. It has been an honor to stand before you today as a candidate for the esteemed position of MUISS head. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to share my commitment to enhancing the experience of international students at Monash University. As we have discussed, the initiative outlined in my manifestos are not just promises, but a blueprint for a meaningful change. The pledge to bolster right awareness seeks to empower students with the knowledge they need to excel in their journey at Monash. ensuring that no challenges goes unaddressed. My experience within the subcommittee of MUISS engagement will assist me in understanding the proceedings of a MUISS head in a much better way. The establishment of a responsive feedback system aims to give every student a voice of shaping their own academic journey. It's a promise of genuine representation where concerns are not just heard but acted upon, fostering a culture of inclusivity and shared responsibility. Breaking down barriers and forging connections among our diverse community is the main key role. This is a celebration of the unique strengths each of us brings at Monash. Dear Monashians, in the words of Helen Keller, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Let's embark on this journey together. I promise you, with your support, we'll create a Monash that truly champions the international student experiences. Vote for a future where every voice is heard, every right is protected, and every student thrives. Thank you for your trust and support. Let's make it happen.
To close off, I'd like to thank all the OBs for giving me such an amazing opportunity and giving me amazing experience in MUISS. I'd like to thank Kamala for helping me with all my doubts regarding the election and inspiring me to run. So with that, let's make life in Monash much more engaging and inclusive for you all. Let's vote for change together, let's take MUISS to greater heights, and let's be the voice of international students. Vote for Ignivitas, vote for me, and vote for a new MUISS. I am Sani Muhammad, and I'm running for the people's MUISS head.
Thank you, candidates, for those closing statements. And with that, we wrap up the debate for head of MUISS. We'll proceed to the debates for vice president next, so please stay tuned. Thank you very much.